The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, Lyn-Dee Eldridge, your Chief Happiness Officer. I could not think of a better topic today than to talk about help for our elderly loved ones. You know, a lot of you follow me on Facebook, and you realize that I have been the caretaker for my elderly mom, who's 84 years old. And it is really an interesting transition, not only for our loved ones, but also for us. Well, I'm super happy and excited today to have Sarah with us. And Sarah is with the Blaire house in Tewksbury. Did I say Tewksbury all right? All right, good stuff. And we are going to learn right now, not only about elderly care for our loved ones, but I want you to think about yourself. I also want you to think about end in mind. Like when you get to that stage in life, what is it that you want to do? And one of the best things that you could be thinking about is transitioning into your next living quarters, your next apartment, your next surroundings of safety, comfort, and security. So I'm really excited because we're going to learn a lot about how to take care of ourselves when we get to that point and how to take care of our elderly loved ones. And what age does that all start? That's going to be a really interesting question, too. So please help me welcome Sarah, how do you pronounce your last name?
Coletti.
Coletti to our show. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Lyn-Dee.
I am really excited
Me
to have you today.
So thank you for having me.
Yeah. I looked at the brochure. I looked at all the information online about the Blaire house. I got to tell you, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and as I'm helping my mom transition into this different chapter of her life, which is her final chapter, right?
Yeah.
It's the last chapter, but it's the happily ever after chapter, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's what we titled the show, too.
Yeah, happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
Exactly.
What age could it start?
Yeah. God, the sky's the limit, Lyn-Dee.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have a catastrophic event happen when it's early.
Yeah.
You're in your 50s.
Wow.
You know, and you need to start examining these types of options really early. Like that's what happened with my father. We had to start looking into options. He was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in his 50s.
Wow.
So it could be people in their 90s who have been able to live independently for a really long time, and those are the luckiest people on earth who are able to, you know, have all their faculties about them until their 90s or even 100.
Right.
You know, so really the sky's the limit. You know, it's a big range of age.
So, okay, so you got warning about Dad.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
scary.
Looking at death is so interesting. You know, like there's a blessing in knowing. And having the time to say goodbye, but watching someone decline for so long can be so difficult. You know, it's always one of those things where you ask yourself, would you want to be dying for years and having your family take care of you?
Right.
Or would you want to go quick, right? I mean, it's an interesting subject to examine, you know.
But also placing us which best serves us, right?
Yes.
So, like, when you find out that a loved one is at the beginning stages of Alzheimer's or dementia, isn't it wonderful to be able to make arrangements together with them?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
What is that process like, Sarah? Because there are so many people out there that are going through this. And they're like, how do I talk to my elderly parent? How do I tell my loved one that I think we should start transitioning them into an independent assisted living? Now, let's give Blaire House a kudos because it's a home where it transitions into every part
It does.
of the elderly care, right?
It does, yeah. It really services the whole, we call it the continuum of care. So, you know, again, as someone is starting to decline, you know, I mean, two-part question, but, you know, it is so hard. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge in my role is you see these huge ranges of family dynamics, right? You see these adult children come in, and when I say adult children, it's usually people between the ages of 35 and 55 up to early 60s who are now in a situation where they need to make decisions for their parents who could be anywhere between the age of 70 up to 100 years old. And some of them have talked to their parents prior to the crisis and figured out what they want to do. You know, they've sat down with mom and dad and said, hey, mom, you know, if something happens to you, where do you want to go? And mom's given all their adult children all the financial information, and okay, they know where all the pensions and the, you know, CDs and all the money is. So if something were to happen, it's easy. Grab all that and you can make the arrangements and not have any guilt that you didn't do what your mom wanted you to do.
Right.
Right?
Is there a checklist? Is there like a form, or maybe I should create one? Because I am also creating a book in regards to how to help your elderly
that would be really
loved
good.
ones, right?
Yeah.
The mindset, and it's a difficult one, but do you have that checklist? Like for my mom, I wish I had a checklist so I didn't skip a beat with the necessities of what has to be and prioritized it. Is there such a checklist?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely resources online, you know, through the state primarily. There's a number of different websites that give all sorts of advice on, you know, if something happens, these are the things you should do, or if your parent is starting to decline, these are the things that you should do. So there are a number of different resources online that, you know, and books that walk you through that. But I think the uniqueness of, you know, what you're talking about would be highly beneficial to people. I really, really do.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think just that's one of the hardest conversations to have is nobody wants to think about dying or having something life-threatening happen to them. Nobody wants to think about that, especially the parents and the kids. And, you know, turning into a caregiver, you know, as a child can be very difficult if you had a difficult relationship with your parent or things aren't always smooth or you live in different states. So I really always advise is even if it's uncomfortable, have that conversation, and the best advice I can give for that is to have a third-party mediator. So as in a financial advisor, an insurance agent, someone who already has a relationship with your elderly loved one that they trust, that can call them and say, hey, we need to talk about making sure you can leave a legacy to your family. Let's bring your daughter in and have a conversation. You let them ask the hard questions, right? Because then it's off your back and they can help you, you know, so I always advise, find out who that person is. You call them as an adult child, tell them what your goals are. So that way, if there's a crisis, you're not scrambling. And again, that's probably the saddest part. And the other piece is the financial piece. If you do that, you're less at risk of losing any money that you might have prevented from being lost. Healthcare is expensive if you're paying privately, and protecting assets, protecting money, and making sure, you know, again, your parents can leave a legacy or pass on those funds to their children is huge. And you don't want to ever, you know, again, have a crisis and wait, my inheritance just had to be completely spent at a nursing home. I mean, obviously, you know, we will spend the money at for-profit organizations, you know, but we'd much rather see families also walk away with a legacy from their family members.
Does
that make sense?
So, absolutely. So we have a friend in common who's also a financial advisor, and I'm going out to him right now because I love him, and you know, if you're in New Hampshire, Jason Haviland, right?
Yes, he's a wonderful.
Unbelievable financial advisor and planner who sits down and does exactly what we're sharing.
Yes, Jason Haviland, Bradford Investments. He's wonderful.
What is the name of his show?
Bradford Investments is the name of his firm.
That's right. And he also has a show.
Yes, Financially Fit with Jason Haviland.
So there's a kudo for you. Write his name down. And if you're having a hard time remembering who it is, go to the Nashua Community TV channel and he's right there, right?
He is, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, so that's just the planning piece. And I would say, too, just when you become a caregiver, you know, like you've had to, Lyn-Dee, you know, it's so life-changing and heart-wrenching, and it can turn into a full-time job. You can miss work. You know, you can miss out on relationships and fun that you used to have. I mean, you kind of go back to when you have little kids.
Yeah.
You know, your whole life is uprooted. But, you know, and the guilt you can experience and this fear that your loved one is safe. And it can just change everything for you and just take over your whole life. So, you know, definitely taking care of you. And once you find a solution, once you find something that works and know what your loved ones want, that freedom of relief that can come with that can help you move forward in happiness with your life, knowing they're safe, knowing you made the right decision, knowing they have better quality of life. You know, whatever that option may be, or whatever you do with your loved one, whether you keep them home with care or, you know, consider adult daycare or assisted living or whatever that looks like, it's got to be right for you.
That's right.
It's got to be right for your family.
And each person, each family, even though we have the same stories, are still very unique.
Yes.
My former mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, oh, she was a sugar cookie. You just wanted to eat her up. You just wanted, I would do anything for her, anything. I wanted to bring her into my home. I wanted to do everything for her. She was not a difficult woman. She just wanted to knit and love. That was my sweetest mother-in-law. And then on the other spectrum, you have my biological mother, who is a woman who's very, very difficult, very negative, very mean, very boisterous, very. So for me to bring her home would not be healthy for me.
Sure.
We have to think of everybody that's a part of this picture, because everybody matters, because you can get sick helping because you feel guilty because you don't want to do something that really is beneficial for everybody.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I had have a gentleman who is moving his mother into our facility in the next few weeks.
Yes.
And he's been taking care of her for the last 8 years. He moved into her home to take care of her. And, you know, he said to me last time I saw him, you know, Sarah, I feel like I'm giving up. Like, I feel like I've never given up on a job before. I took on this commitment of caregiving, and I feel like I'm giving up. And it's killing me. And I had to really turn it around.
Yes.
And this brings back to why I'm on the show. If the happiness struggles, no, Mark, like, this is a chance for you to have a new beginning in life, to know your mother's safe, to have a life you haven't had in 8 years, you know, because he's had to give up everything to take care of her and really reinvent yourself and find yourself again. And I think for caregivers, it's not just for caregivers. I'm also talking about the loved ones, because when they're in a safe environment that's engaging and they have friends, and or even if they stay home and they have caregivers in their home, they can develop relationships and be engaged in a way that they might not have been for years. So it's a really great chance to just reinvent and find happiness even in your older years.
Yeah, I want to go out to Mark, is his name? Okay, and we'll just leave it at Mark.
We'll leave that at
Mark. We'll leave it at Mark. Hey, Mark, I know how you feel. I get it. You know, you have this guilty thing. You don't want to do anything different because she's your mom. But here's what I'll share with you. It's like raising kids. When they get to be a certain age, you need to go ahead and kick them out of the nest a little bit, because there's a brighter tomorrow without us hanging on.
That's right.
So what I want to share with you, Mark, and everybody else that is feeling our pain, is that just think, when you place them into a beautiful assisted living, you're giving them back life, because there's so much entertainment and there's so much socializing when they decide to engage. When you go visit them, I think we're going to see a different spark. Yeah. It's like you're giving them back a playground.
That's right.
And it's their choice, right, of whether they want to sit there like this, or whether they want to go, wow, there's bingo going on. What is her? And they start kibitzing and making new friends, right?
That's right.
So, Mark, it's your time to live, buddy. It's your time to live. So go out there and make a difference for you and for your loved one.
That's right.
Right?
And yes, exactly.
Exactly. That helped me so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to transition my mother. She has no more choices into an assisted living because I paused my life for over 10 months last year, right? It wasn't healthy. When I look back at that, even though I was granting her her wishes up to I couldn't do it anymore,
Right.
I realized that where I'm, helping her transition into the assisted living, it's like a Blaire house, only in South Florida.
Yes.
And I believe that I'm going to see a new life out of my mother being 84.
And it really does happen.
Yeah, it does.
We have people living in our assisted living or attending our adult day health
Yeah.
programs that physically come to us pretty frail. And even from the physical aspect, we're moving you more.
Yes.
You're doing activities like Zumba in the chair or yoga in the chair, and you're going up and down and walking more back and forth to meals and activities. So the strength that can be enhanced.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen for everyone.
That's right.
Sometimes it
It's
doesn't.
not.
But for some people, it's amazing the transformations where people come in
Everybody's
using walkers.
an individual. Everybody has different results. Everybody.
Yeah. But some people can come in using walkers, and because they've been used to sitting at home and they haven't moved their bodies.
Exactly.
And then it's amazing. Then they're moving and they gain strength.
Yes.
And again, it's not everybody, but it is interesting
It can
to
happen.
see, in a few short months, the changes that I've witnessed in some of our residents and, again, clients of our adult day program, just thriving and again having a new sense on life, and again caregivers just having the weight off their back is huge.
It's huge.
Yes.
Is it month to month?
Yeah. So at Blaire House we offer a full campus of care. I know we kind of mentioned this before, but we have an adult day program that's day health activities, entertainment, 6 days a week, so just during the day. So people can come during the day and then they can go home. Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, that's adult day
Stop
program.
it.
Yep, exactly.
They
Very
have
cool.
adult daycare.
Yes, it's amazing.
Like there's doggy daycare, there's children's daycare. I didn't mean to put them in the doggy care.
No, it's okay.
Oh my God.
And the thing is with that is I think when you say daycare, a lot of viewers probably think about babies, or they think about elderly people that are basically back to the infant state,
so
that
what do
they're
we call
sitting
it?
there in a chair, not drooling. That's not the case. So they're either called adult day programs, adult social clubs, or adult health programs. It's a number of different names.
I love it.
But think about a senior center and people having things to do all the time. That's what it's like.
Yes.
But they also provide care. So if someone needs some personal care, taking a shower, or they need some help taking their medicine or things like that, a number of these programs also offer that. They have a nurse that can help with those things.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's a really great option. So and then assisted living is directly attached. We have 35 apartments, and then we have a nursing facility that also includes a rehab that's directly attached. So we have kind of everything in one campus. And the cost, of course, ranges for all of those services. Some is covered by insurance. If you need the nursing facility, if you need rehab, it's covered under Medicare for a certain number of days. Some insurances pick up all of it or a partial cost. Our nursing home is Medicaid certified. So if you do spend down your funds and then qualify for Medicaid, we are a certified nursing facility for Medicaid.
Good to know.
Adult day health, same thing. It's a range. Some people, depending on their financial situation, pay privately. And usually range for adult day programs is anywhere between $60 a day up to $100 a day, with or without transportation services. But again, a number of insurances cover it. If you do qualify through the state for that you need services, that you can't be home, usually insurances will pick up the cost, so it's worth the call to your elder services office in whatever town you're living in.
What is the right question to ask? Because that's another thing. When people call the insurance companies, call up the VA to find out the benefits, all of these things that possibly they can. What is the question that they should be asking? Because you know how sometimes you ask a question, it's always about the verbiage.
Yes.
What is the right? I want to know if I can have assistance for my parent, my elderly parent. What is that? And I know that the question could
No, it's
vary,
a great question.
but
Fantastic question.
Verbiage.
So really the best place that you want to start is your local office of elder affairs. That could be your local council on aging. Ooh. That could be your county's Department of Elder Services. So for instance, since we're right on the border of Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Elder Services of Merrimack Valley serves the whole Merrimack Valley, like over 30 towns. So you call them and you request a screening, which is called a home screening. That screening for wherever your loved one is living, whether that be in a community or at their own home, will determine the level of care they might need, or if they're technically safe to be home alone.
Oh, wow.
Once that comes in, as in, okay, yes, they're safe to remain at home, but they need care, at least during the day. Or they need care all the time. Or, you know, they do. It would be preferable for them to get care at an adult center, or they really can't be home at all. You know, all those things will come through. And then from there, that referral of whatever that care may be would be sent to whatever insurance you have. For a
so that's like
claim.
An assessment that they would do.
It is, yes.
And there's no charge for an assessment.
No, there's not. And
you see what I'm saying?
So it's, again, the sky's the limit. I mean, for when we were going through this with my father for adult day health, it saved our lives. Like we were both working. He wasn't safe to be home alone. So until we spent down funds to be covered by Medicaid, we did private pay. But in the beginning, some of it was covered, and we had home aides coming in the morning and in the evening, and it was partially covered by insurance. Again, it's all just going to depend on your insurance, but it's worth to have the screening early and worth to make the call. Yeah.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, and assisted
Nobody
living.
knows. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, assisted living, I mean, it's not, it's private pay. Assisted livings are private pay up here, and they're not inexpensive. I mean, they are relatively expensive, but if you sit down and you do the math of what you're already paying. So for instance, if mom and dad are living at home, and even if their house is paid off, they still have property tax, which is expensive in New Hampshire, and it's not much less than Massachusetts. They still have utilities, they're still paying their water bill, food, cable, all of those things, and they're not getting any entertainment. And then if you add in home aides privately are usually about $20 to $30 an hour.
Yeah, you're right.
That can add up.
Wow.
So if you do the math and then compare it to assisted livings are basically apartments. You're renting an apartment, but it's an all-inclusive apartment.
Oh, I
so
love
you think
that.
about going to an all-inclusive in Jamaica, right, or the Caribbean.
Wake up and the whole world is yours.
Yeah, you pay by the night, and you have all your food included, all your utilities included, your cable. But in addition, you have personal care included if you need it. Wow. So it's all there for you. You can start off with just needing a little basic care in assisted living, and then it's there as your needs increase. So it's a great option for people for transitioning, like your mom, into the next phase, and perhaps the final phase of where she's going to live. But the cost ranges in this area anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 a month in New Hampshire. Mass, usually the starting is around $5,000, anywhere up to $10,000, depending on care needs, and this is monthly. Depending on care needs, depending on if it's an Alzheimer's or memory facility, it's not inexpensive. But again, some families pay with pensions, Social Security, long-term care insurance, savings. They sell their house to supplement the cost. And a lot of times family members help if there's a little extra.
Absolutely.
They pitch in and I'll cover it.
That's
so, you do the math, it's not the end of the world. The shock factor can really be there, but it's not as bad when you really do the math.
So I just want to make sure we should have a checklist, because there are so many things that nobody knows. And I love what you just said. Think about the money that they're spending right now.
Yes.
It's not going to be that big of a difference.
That's right.
It's not. And now, hearing that, you could reach out to the government wherever you are, look up the elderly care, get some answers, get the assessments. There are some fabulous solutions and tips in this show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just going back to the beginning, it's really, I mean, my father was sick for 10 years. And the best part about him passing away is that my mother and I became very close. So we're very lucky, unlike, you and your mother's relationship. But the best part was that we were forced to become very intimately in tune with each other financially, and again, be able to have those discussions about now, what does she want? So I know I have it all there. I know what she wants.
Yeah.
I know where she'd want to go if she got sick. I know where all the money is. So, and I didn't before.
Yeah.
So, you know, the weight off my back, if I do have to become a caregiver for my mother, is huge. So I would say that's the first step. And visiting places in the area that you would want to stay in early. So
Yeah.
you can see, what do you like? What do you not like?
Right.
What places may be older, like facilities, but they're clean and they're well staffed? You know, what kind of activities would I be interested in? Kind of going through those things of what would you want?
We're coming to an end. I can't believe it. I want to share with everybody, God bless.
Thank you.
When you're taking your loved one for a tour, here's how I got my mother to go. I said to her, let's go model shopping.
Yes.
Model home shopping. I didn't call it an assisted living. I didn't call it, you know, where you're going to live with the elder. I said, Mom, you keep on talking about possibly wanting to move. Let's go look at some different models.
That's right. That's right. We recommend that all the time.
Yeah.
Let's go check out a condo.
Oh.
Found this great community, a
Perfect.
new condo. You know, let me bring you to an activity, or you know, arrange with the community to have an activity they enjoy.
That's right.
Ready when they arrive. If your mother really likes to play, you know, cribbage
Yeah.
or bridge, you could arrange. Say, hey, Mom, I'm bringing you to a cribbage tournament.
There we go.
And it would be all ready to go when she gets there. So
That's beautiful.
that assisted living communities or anything else will do those for you.
I never said that life was easy, but I did say that we could all be happier for yourself and for your loved ones. That's what this show is all about, bringing you tips and solutions on how to take the next step to make your life better and the ones that you love for elderly care. Sarah, thank you so, so much.
Thank
we got to
you
say
so
goodbye.
much.
We got to
Yes,
say
we
goodbye.
do.
See ya.
See ya.
Contact Blaire House.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you so much.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.